Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we will continue our reading from chapter 24 of the Madhya Lila from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Verse number 296. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum lankayate girim yat kripatamam bante Shri Guru Din Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Ātmārāmascha Atanna bar sheshe sab lop kari rakhi ek bar. In this way, one can repeat the word Ātmārāma with cha for each of the 58 meanings. By following the rule previously stated and rejecting all but the last, we retain that which represents all the meanings. Verse 297. Sarupanam ekashesha eka vibhaktau uktarthanam aprayoga iti. Of words having the same form and case termination, the last one is the only one retained, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This is a quotation from Panini Sutras 1.2.64. Verse 298. Atanna chakarera sab lopahaya ek Ātmārāma shabde atanna arthakaya. When all the chakars or additions of the word cha are taken away, 58 different meanings can still be understood by the one word Ātmārāma. Verse 299. Ashwatha vrikshas cha bata vrikshas cha kapitha vrikshas cha amra vrikshas cha vrikshah. By the plural word vrikshas, trees, all trees such as banyan trees, fig trees, kapitha trees and mango trees are indicated. Verse 300. Asmin vane vriksha phalanti yaiche haya taiche saba Ātmārāma Krishna bhakti karaya. The Ātmārāma verse is like the sentence, in this forest many different trees bear fruit, all Ātmārāmas render devotional service to Lord Krishna. Verse 301. Ātmārāmascha samuchaye kahiye chakar munayascha bhakti kare ei arthatar. After uttering the word Ātmārāma 58 times and taking cha in a sense of aggregation, one may add the word munayah, that will mean that great sages also render devotional service to Lord Krishna. In this way, there are 59 meanings. Verse 302. Nirgrantha eva hena api nirdharane ei unshashti prakar arth karilun vyakhyane. Then taking the word nirgrantha and considering api in the sense of sustenance, I have tried to explain the 59th meaning of the verse. Verse 304. 303. Sarva samuchya ar ek arthaya Ātmārāmascha munayascha nirgranthascha bhajaya. Taking all the words together, there is another meaning, whether one's is an Ātmārāma, a great sage, or nirgranth, everyone must engage in the service of the Lord. Purport: the word sarva samuchya is significant here. It includes all the classes of men, Ātmārāmas, munis and nirgranths. Everyone must engage in the service of the Lord. Taking the word api in the sense of ascertainment, there are altogether 60 different meanings. Verse 304. Api shabda avdharane seha chari bar chari shabda sange evera karibe uchar. The word api is then used in the sense of ascertainment, and then the word eva can be uttered 4 times with 4 words. Verse 305. Urukrame eva bhaktim eva ahetukim eva kurvanti eva. The words urukrama, bhakti, ahetuki and kurvanti are added to the word eva again and again. Thus another meaning is explained. Verse 306. Eita kahilun shlokera chashti sankhya artha Ar ek arth shuna pramane samarth. Now I have given 60 different meanings of the verse, and yet there is another meaning which is also very strongly evident. Verse 307. Atma Shabde Kahe Kshetra Jana Jiva Lakshana Brahmadi Keet Parayant Tanra Shakite Ganana. The word Atma also refers to the living entity who knows about his body. That is another symptom from Lord Brahma down to insignificant ant. Everyone is counted as the marginal potency of the Lord. Verse 308. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetra Janakhya Tatha Para Avidya Karma Samajanya Tritiya Shaktir Ishyate. The potency of Lord Vishnu is summarized in three categories, namely the spiritual potency, the living entities, and ignorance. The spiritual potency is full of knowledge. The living entities, although belonging to the spiritual potency, are subject to bewilderment. And the third energy, which is full of ignorance, is always visible in fruitive activities. Purport: this is a quotation from Vishnu Puran. For an explanation, see Adi Lila 7.119. Verse 309. Kshetrajana Atma Purusha Pradhanam Prakriti Striyam. The word Kshetrajana refers to the living entity, the enjoyer, the chief, and material nature. Purport: this is a quotation from Swarga Varga number 7 of the Amar Kosh dictionary. Verse 310. Brahmite Brahmite Yadi Sadhu Sang Paye Sab Tyaji Tabe Tinho Krishner Bhajaye. The living entities are wandering in different species of life on different planets, but if by chance they get the association of a pure devotee sadhu, they give up all other engagements and engage in the service of Lord Krishna. Verse 311. Shati Arth Kahilun Sab Krishner Bhajane Sai Arth Haya Ei Sabe Udharane. I have thus explained 60 different meanings, and all of them aim at the service of Lord Krishna. After giving so many examples, that is the only meaning. Verse 312. Ek Shashti Arth Ebe Sfurila Toma Sange Tomar Bhakti Vashe Uthe Arthera Tarange. Now, due to your association, another meaning has awakened. It is due to your devotional service that these waves of meanings are arising. Purport: the word Atma refers to the living entity from Lord Brahma down to an insignificant ant. Everyone is considered a living entity. Living entities are considered part of the Lord's marginal potency. All of them are Kshetrajana, knowers of the body, when they become Nirgrantha or free. Saintly persons, they engage in Lord Krishna's service. This is the 61st meaning of the verse. Verse 313. Aham Vedmi Shuko Veti Vyaso Veti Naveti Va Bhaktya Bhagavatam Grahayam Na Budhaya Na Cha Tikaya. Lord Shiva said, I may know Shukadev Goswami, the son of Vyasdev, may know, and Vyasdev may know or may not know Srimad Bhagavatam. On the whole, Srimad Bhagavatam, the spotless Puran, can be learned only through devotional service, not by material intelligence, speculative methods, or imaginary commentaries. Purport: devotional service includes 9 processes, beginning with hearing, chanting, remembering the activities of Lord. Only one who has taken to the devotional service can understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the spotless Puran for a transcendental Paramhans. So-called commentaries are useless for this purpose. According to the Vedic injunction, Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir Yatha Deve Tatha Gurau, all Vedic literatures maintain that Srimad Bhagavatam has to be learned from a person Bhagavat, and to understand it, one has to engage in pure devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be understood by so-called erudite scholars or grammarians. One who has developed pure Krishna consciousness and has served the pure devotee, the spiritual master, can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Others cannot. Verse 314. Artha Shuni Sanatana Vismit Hena Stuti Kare Mahaprabhura Charane Dhariya. After hearing all the explanations of the different meanings of Ātmārāma verse, Sanatana Goswami was struck with wonder. He fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to offer prayers. Verse 315. Sakshat Ishwar Tumi Rajendra Nandan Tumar Nishwase Vase Sarvas Veda Pravartan. Sanatana Goswami said, My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nand. All the Vedic literatures are vibrated through your breathing. Verse 316. Tumi Vakta Bhagavatera Tumi Jan Arth Tuma Vina Anya Janite Naika Samarth. My dear Lord, you are the original speaker of the Bhagavatam. You therefore know its real import, but for you no one can understand the confidential meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam purport. Following this statement by Srila Sanatana Goswami, we have written our introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, pages 1 to 41. Verse 317. Prabhu kahe kena kara amar stvana Bhagavatera sarupa kene na kara vicharana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Why are you glorifying me personally? You should understand the transcendental position of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why don't you consider this important point? Verse 318. Krishna Tulya Bhagavat Vibhu Sarvashraya Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nana Arthakaya. Srimad Bhagavatam is as great as Krishna, the Supreme Lord and shelter of everything. In each and every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and in each and every syllable there are various meanings. Verse 319. Prashnottare Bhagavate Kariyache Nirdhar Yanhar Shravane Loke Lage Chamatkar. The form of Srimad Bhagavatam is given in questions and answers, thus the conclusion is established. By hearing these questions and answers, one is highly astonished. Verse 320. Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmane Dharma Varmani Swam Kashtham Adhuno Pete Dharma Kam Sharanam Gata. Now that Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us by whom religious principles are presently protected. Purport: this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.23 was a question raised by all the sages who were headed by Shaunak. This question put before the great devotee Sutta Goswami is the foremost of the 6 questions raised. The answer to this important question is given in the next verse, also from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43. Verse 321. Krishne swa dhamo pagate dharma jnana di bhihi saha kalau nashtadrisham esha purnarko dhunodhitaha. After Lord Krishna departed for his abode along with religious principles and transcendental knowledge, this Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam, has arisen like the sun in this age of Kali to enlighten those who have no spiritual vision. Verse 322. E mata kailun ek shlokera vyakhyan vatulera pralap kari ke kare praman. In this way, like a madman, I have explained the meaning of just one verse. I do not know who will take this as evidence. Verse 323. Ātmārāma yeba keha batula haya e drishte bhagavatera artha janaya. If one becomes a madman like me, he may also understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam by this process. Prabhupada Chaitanya Mahaprabhu plainly explains that Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be understood by one who are materially situated. In other words, one has to become a madman like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Apart from being Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an acharya who exhibited love of God like madmen. According to his own written verse, Yugaitam Nimeshana, he says that for him a moment seems to last 12 years. Chakshusha Pravishaitam, my tears are flowing like the torrent of rains. Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam. I feel as if I entered. If the entire universe was vacant, why Govinda Virahane me due to my being separated from Govinda Krishna? One can understand Srimad Bhagavatam only by following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was mad for Krishna. We cannot, of course, imitate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is not possible. However, unless one is very serious about understanding Krishna, he cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam gives the full narration of Krishna's transcendental activities. The first 9 cantos explain who Krishna is, and the Lord's birth and activities are narrated in the 10th canto. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is stated, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. Krishna's appearance and disappearance are transcendental, not mundane. A person is eligible to return home back to Godhead if he perfectly understands Krishna and his appearance and disappearance. This is verified by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad-Gita 4.9, Tyaktva Deham Punar Janmana Naiti Ma Meti So Arjuna. It is therefore concluded that one has to learn about Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and one has to follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Those who do not follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot understand Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Verse 324, Punah Sanatan Kahe Yuri Dui Kare Prabhu Agya Dila Vaishnav Smriti Kari Bare. Folding his hands, Sanatan Goswami said, My Lord, you ordered me to write directly about the activities of Vaishnavas. Verse 325, Muni Nicha Jati Kichuna Janon Achar Mohaite Kaiche Haya Smriti Prachar. I'm a most low-born person. I have no knowledge of good behavior. How is it possible for me to write authorized directions about Vaishnava activities? Purport: actually, Sanatan Goswami belonged to a very respectable Brahmin family. Nonetheless, he submitted himself as a fallen, low-born person because he had served in the Muslim government. A Brahmin is never supposed to engage in anyone's service. Serving others for a livelihood, Paricharyatmakam karma, is the business of Shudras. So where was I? Serving others for livelihood, Paricharyatmakam karma, is the business of Shudras. The Brahmana is always independent and busy studying Shastra and preaching Shastra to subordinate social members such as Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Sanatan Goswami felt unfit to write Vaishnava Smriti about the behavior of Vaishnavas because he had fallen from the Brahminical position. The Sanatan Goswami clearly admits that Brahminical culture should be standardized. Presently in India, so-called Brahmins are almost all engaged in some mundane service, and they do not understand the import of the Vedic Shastras. Nonetheless, they are passing themselves off as Brahmins on the basis of birth. In this connection, Sanatan Goswami declares that a Brahmin cannot be engaged in anyone's service if he wants to take a leading part in society. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni states that even if a Brahmin is in difficult position, he should not accept the occupation of Shudra. This means that he should not be engaged in service for another, for this is the business of the dogs. Under the circumstances, Sanatan Goswami felt very low because he had accepted a position of service in the Muslim government. The conclusion is that no one should claim to be Brahmana simply by birthright while engaging in someone else's service. Verse 326, Sutra Kari Disha Yadi Karaha Upadesh Apne Karaha Yadi Hridaye Pravesh. Sanatan Goswami then requested the Lord, please personally tell me how I can write this difficult book about Vaishnava behavior. Please manifest yourself in my heart. But the writing of Vaishnava literatures is not a function of for ordinary men. Vaishnava literatures are not mental concoctions. They are all authorized literatures meant to guide those who are going to be Vaishnavas. Under the circumstances, an ordinary man cannot give his own opinion. His opinion must be correspond with the conclusion of the Vedas. His opinion must always correspond with the conclusion of the Vedas unless one is fully qualified in Vaishnava behavior and authorized by superior authority. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot write Vaishnava literature or purports and commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita. Verse 3 and 27. Tabe tar disha sure mo nichera hridaya Ishwar tumi ye karah se siddhaya. If you would please manifest yourself within my heart and personally direct me in writing this book, then although I am a below-born, I may hope to be able to write it. You can do this because you are the spiritual Supreme Personality of Godhead yourself, and whoever you direct is perfect. Verse 28. Prabhu kahe ye karite kariba tumi mana Krishna se tuma Karabe Spurna. Mahaprabhu replied, whatever you want to do you will be able to do correctly by Lord Krishna's favor. He will manifest the real purport. Sanatana Goswami was a pure devotee of Krishna. A pure devotee has no business other than serving Krishna. Consequently, Krishna is always ready to help him. The benediction was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, who was authorized to write Vaishnav Smriti. Sanatana Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and through the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was able to write the book perfectly. Verse 329. Tathapi esutrera shuna dig darshana sakarana likhi adau guru ashrayana. Because you asked me for a synopsis, please hear these few indications in the beginning describe how one must take the shelter of bona fide spiritual master. Verse 330. Guru Lakshan Shishya Lakshan Donhare Parikshana Sevya Bhagwan Sarva Mantra Vicharana. Your book should describe the characteristics of bona fide spiritual master and bona fide disciple. Then before accepting a spiritual master, one can be assured of a spiritual master's position. Then before accepting a spiritual master, one can be assured of the spiritual master's position. Similarly, the spiritual master can also be assured of a disciple's position. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna should be described as the worshipful object, and you should describe the Bija Mantra for the worship of Krishna as well as that of Ram and other expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport in the Padma Purana, the characteristics of Gau, the bona fide spiritual master. Of the spiritual master, lost the word here. Okay. Mahabhagavata Shreshto Brahmano Vai Guru Nrinam Sarvesham Eva Lokanam Asau Pujyo Yatha Hari Mahakula Prasuto Api Sarva Yagyeshu Dikshitah Sahasra Sakhadhyai Channa Guru Syad Vaishnava. The Guru must be situated on the topmost platform of devotional service. There are 3 classes of devotees, and Guru must be accepted from the topmost class. The first class devotee is a spiritual master for all kinds of people. It is said, Guru Niranam. The word Niranam means of all human beings. The Guru is not limited to a particular group. It is stated that in the Updeshamrita of Rupa Goswami that a Guru is a Goswami, a controller of the senses and mind, Such a guru can accept disciples from all over the world. Prithvim sa shishyat. This is the best of the guru. So this is the test of guru. Prithvim sa shishyat. Guru can accept disciples from all over the world. In India, there are so many so-called gurus, and they are limited to certain district or province. They do not even travel about India, yet they declare themselves to be a Jagat Guru, the Prabhupada. Such cheating gurus should not be accepted. Anyone can see how the bona fide spiritual master accepts disciples from all over the world. The guru is a qualified Brahman, therefore he knows Brahman and Parabrahman, thus he devotes his life for the service of Parabrahman. The bona fide spiritual master who accepts the disciples from all over the world is also worshipped all over. Okay, where are we now? The bona fide spiritual master who accepts disciples from all over the world is also worshipped all over the world because of his qualities. Lokanam asau pujyo yatha hari. The people of the world worship him just as they worship Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these honors are offered to him because he strictly follows the Brahminical principles and teaches these principles to his disciples. Such a person is called Acharya because he knows the principles of devotional service. He behaves in the way that he teaches his disciples to follow in his footsteps. Thus he is an Acharya or Jagat Guru, even though a person who is born in Brahminical family and is very expert in performing sacrifices, he cannot be accepted as a Guru if he is not a strict Vaishnav. A Guru is a Brahman by qualification, and he can turn into others into Brahmanas according to the Eastern principles and Brahminical. Absence of self-control and similar Brahminical qualities, we should not judge primarily according to superficial characteristics like birth. This is stated in the verse beginning Yasya. It's in Bhagavatam 7th Canto 11th chapter verse 35. If the qualities of one Varna are seen in someone born in another, he should be designated according to the Varna of his qualities, not that of his birth. There is a similar statement made by Nilakantha, commentator on Mahabharata. Shudro api shamadi upetu brahmana eva brahmano api kamadi upeta. Shudra eva, although one may be born in Shudra family if he is endowed with the Brahminical qualities, beginning with sama, control of mind, he is to accepted as Brahman. Although one may be born in a... No one should present himself as Brahman simply on the basis of being born in a Brahminical family. One should be qualified on Brahminical qualities particularly the Bhagavad-Gita 18.42. So these are the Brahminical qualities explained in the Shastras. According to 18.42, Shamo Damastapa Shocham Kshantir Arjavam Evacha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Subhava Jana. Right. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom and religiousness, these are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Unless one is qualified with all these attributes, he cannot be accepted as Brahman. It is not a question of simply taking birth in a Brahman family. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur remarks that Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamanand Goswami, although not born in Brahman families, are accepted as bona fide spiritual masters because they were Brahmins by qualification. Personalities like Sri Ganga, Narayan, Ram, Krishna and many others who were actually born in Brahman family accepted Narottam Thakur and Shyamanand Goswami. The Mahabhagavat is one who decorates the Lord with the right, again, because it's a very long purport, and if you just manage to tap by mistake on the screen, it goes away. Okay, it's I think it was, we were here. When one attained the topmost position of Mahabhagavat, he is to be accepted as Guru and worshipped exactly like Hari, the personality of Godhead. Only such a person is eligible to occupy the post of Guru. However, if one is highly qualified but not Vaishnav, he cannot be accepted as Guru. One cannot be a Brahman unless one is Vaishnav. If one is Vaishnav, he is already a Brahman. If Guru is completely qualified as Vaishnav, he must be accepted as Brahman even though he is not born in a Brahman family. The caste system method of distinguishing a Brahman by birth is not acceptable when applied to bona fide spiritual master. A spiritual master is qualified Brahman, and one is not a qualified Brahman if he is not expert in studying the Vedic literatures. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno. Every Vaishnava is a spiritual master, and a spiritual master is automatically expert in Brahminical behavior. He also understands Vedic Shastras. Similarly, a disciplic qualification must be observed by the spiritual master before he is accepted as a disciple in our Krishna consciousness movement. The requirement is that one must be prepared to give up the 4 pillars of sinful life: illicit relationships, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. In Western countries especially, we first observe when a potential disciple is prepared to follow the regulative principles. Then he is given the name of a Vaishnava servant and initiated to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra at least 16 rounds daily. In this way, the disciple renders the devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master or his representatives for at least 6 months to a year. He is then recommended for second initiation, during which a sacred thread is offered and disciple is accepted as a bona fide Brahmana. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur introduced the system of giving the sacred thread to bona fide Vaishnavas, and we are following in his footsteps. The qualifications of a bona fide disciple are described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 10, verse 6. Amanyo matsaro daksho nirmamo dridha sauridaha asatvaro artha jigyasur anasuyor amoghavak. The disciple must have the following qualifications. He must give up interest in material bodily conceptions. He must give up material lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. He must be interested only in understanding the science of God, and he must be ready to consider all points in this matter. He should no longer think, I am this body, or this thing belongs to me. One must love the spiritual master with unflinching faith, and one must be very steady and fixed. The bona fide disciple should be inquisitive to understand transcendental subject matter. He must not search out faults among good qualities, and he should no longer be interested in material topics. His only interest should be Krishna and Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, as far as the mutual testing of the spiritual master and disciple is concerned, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains as the bona fide disciple must be very inquisitive to understand the transcendental subject matter as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. One who is inquisitive to learning or understanding the highest goal and benefit of life must approach a bona fide spiritual master and surrender to him. A serious disciple must be alert when selecting a bona fide spiritual master. He must be sure that the spiritual master can deliver all the transcendental necessities. The spiritual master must observe how inquisitive the disciple and how eager he is to understand this transcendental subject matter. The spiritual master should study the disciple's inquisitiveness for no less than 6 months to a year. a spiritual master should not be very anxious to accept disciple because of his material opulences. Sometimes a big businessman or landlord may approach a spiritual master for initiation. Those who are materially interested are called Vishais or Karmis, which indicates that they are very fond of sense gratification. Such Vishais sometimes approach a famous guru and ask to become a disciple just as a matter of fashion. Sometimes Vishais pose as disciples of reputed spiritual master just to cover the activities and advertise themselves as advanced in spiritual knowledge. In other words, they want to attain material success. A spiritual master must be very careful in this regard. Such business is going on all over the world. A spiritual master does not accept a materially opulent disciple just to advertise the fact that he is such a big disciple. He knows that by associating with such Vishai disciples, he may fall down. One who accepts a Vishai disciple is not a bona fide spiritual master, not even if he is. His position may be damaged due to the association with the unscrupulous Vishai. If a so-called spiritual master accepts a disciple for his personal benefit or for material gain, the relationship between the spiritual master and disciple turns into material affair, and the spiritual master becomes like a smart guru. There are many caste Goswamis who professionally create some disciples who do not care for them or their instructions. Such spiritual masters are satisfied simply to get some material benefits from their disciples. Such a relationship is condemned by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who calls such spiritual masters and disciples a society of cheaters and cheated. They are also called Baulas or Prakritik Sahajyas. Their aim is to make the connection between the spiritual master and the disciples into a very cheap thing. They are not serious in wanting to understand spiritual life. The word Sevya Bhagwan in this verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita are important. Bhagwan indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu alone is worshipable. There is no need to worship demigods. This is confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita 7.20. Kames teis ter Rita Gyanaha Prapadyante Anya Devataha Tam Tam Niyamam Asthaya Prakritya Niyataha Swaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by their material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. It is also stated in Skanda Puran, Vasudevam Parityajya yo anya devam upasate swamatram parityajya shva pachim bandate. He is a person who worships the demigods and gives up Lord Vasudeva is like a man who gives up the protection of his mother for the shelter of a witch. It is also stated by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad-Gita 9.23, Ye api anya devata bhakta jante shraddhya anvitaha te api mam eva konte yajanti avidhi purvakam. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. Demigods are also living entities and parts and parcels of Krishna. Therefore, in one sense, one worships Krishna when one worships the demigods, but not in the proper way. There is a proper method to water a tree. One should water the root, but if one waters the leaves and branches instead, he is simply wasting his time. If one worships the demigods to the exclusion of Lord Vishnu, his rewards will only be material, as confirmed by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad-Gita 7.23, Antavat tu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedhasam devan deva yajo yanti mad bhakta yanti mam api. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Demigod worship is meant for unintelligent men because the benefits derived from demigod worship are all material, temporary and retractable. It is also stated in Padma Puran, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Devataye Samat Vaineva Viksheta Pashandi Bhave Dhruvam. Whoever thinks Lord Vishnu and the demigods are on the same level is to be immediately considered a rogue as far as spiritual understanding is concerned. There are three modes of nature in the material world, but when one is situated spiritually, he is above the material modes, even though he lives in this material world, as Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad-Gita 14.26, Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitayetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. In material consciousness, however, even one who is situated in the mode of goodness is susceptible to pollution by the modes of passion and ignorance. When the mode of goodness is mixed with the mode of passion, one worships the sun god Vivaswan. When the mode of goodness is mixed with the mode of ignorance, one worships Ganpati or Ganesh. When mode of passion is mixed with the mode of ignorance, one worships Kali, the external potency. When one is simply in the mode of ignorance, one becomes a devotee of Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is the predominating deity of the mode of ignorance within the material world. However, when one is completely free from the influence of all the modes of material nature, one becomes a pure Vaishnava on the devotional platform. As Srila Rupa Goswami states in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttama. One should render transcendental service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is this called the pure devotional service. The position of Vishuddha Sattva is the position of uncontaminated goodness. On that platform, one can understand Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesh Tanayastadhama Vrindavanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Nand Maharaj, is to be worshipped along with his transcendental abode, Vrindavan. The word Sarv Mantra Vicharan in the present verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita means considering all different types of mantras. There are different kinds of mantras for different kinds of devotees. There is a mantra known as Dvadash Akshar Mantra, composed of 12 syllables, and there is mantra composed of 18 syllables. Similarly, there are Narsimha, mantra, the Ram mantra, the Gopal mantra, and so on. Each and every mantra has its own spiritual significance. The spiritual master has to select a mantra for his disciple according to the disciple's ability to chant different mantras. Verse 331, Mantra Adhikari, Mantra Siddhi, Adi Shodhana, Diksha, Pratah Smriti, Kritya, Shoch, Achamana. You should discuss the qualifications necessary for receiving mantra, the perfection of the mantra, and the purification of the mantra, initiation and morning duties, remembrance of the Supreme Lord, cleanliness and washing the mouth and other parts of the body. But the following injunction is given in Hari Bhakti Vilas 1.194. Regarding the mantra adhikari, the qualification for receiving mantra initiation, tantrikeshu cha mantreshu dikshayam yoshitam api sadvinam adhikaro asti shudra dinam cha sadhyanam dhyam. Shudras and women who are chaste and sincerely interested in understanding the absolute truth are qualified to be initiated with the Pancharatrika mantra. This is confirmed by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita 9.32. Mam hi partha vyapashritya ye api syuhya papa yonaya striyo vaishyas tatha shudras te api yanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they will of lower birth, women, vaishyas and shudras, the workers, can attain the supreme destination. If one actually wants to serve Krishna, it does not matter whether one is Shudra, Vaishya or woman. If one is sincerely eager to chant the mantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra or Diksha mantra, one is qualified to be initiated according to the Pancharatrika process. However, according to Vedic principles, only a Brahman who is fully engaged in his occupational duties can be initiated. Shudras and women are not admitted to the Vedika initiation Unless one is fit according to the estimation of the spiritual master, one cannot accept a mantra from the Pancharatrika Vidhi or the Vedika Vidhi. One has to fit to accept. When one is fit to accept the mantra, one is initiated by the Pancharatrika Vidhi or Vedika Vidhi. In any case, the result is the same. Regarding Mantra Siddhi Adi Shodhana, the efficacy of the mantra, but Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives 16 divisions which are confirmed in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, beginning with 1.204. Siddha Sadhya Susiddhari Kramaj Geyo Vichakshanah. These are Siddha, Sadhya, Susiddha, and Ari. The four principles can be divided further: Siddha Siddha, Siddha Sadhya, Siddha Susiddha, Siddha Ari, Sadhya Siddha, Sadhya Sadhya, Sadhya Susiddha, Sadhya Ari, Susiddha Sadhya, Siddha Susiddha, Sadhya Susiddha, Susiddha Susiddha Ari, Ari Siddha, Ari Sadhya, Ari Susiddha, and Ari Ari. Those who are initiated with the 18-syllable mantra do not need to consider the above mentioned 16 divisions as enjoined in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Na chatra shatrava dosha nirna shavadi vicharana riksha rashi vicharo va na kartavyo manao priye natra chintyo ari shuddhi yadir nari mitradi lakshanam siddha sadhya susiddhari rupa natra vicharana. There is shodhana or purification of the mantra, but there is no such consideration for the Krishna mantra. Balitvat Krishna mantranam samskara pekshanam nahi. The Krishna mantra is so strong that there is no question of shodhana. As far as Diksha is concerned, one should consult Madhya Lila, chapter 15, verse 108. On the whole, when a person is initiated according to the Pancharatrika Vidhi, he has already attained the position of Brahman. This is enjoined in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Yatha kanchananatam yati kamsayam rasa vidhanatah tatha diksha vidhanena dvitijam chvam jayate nrinam. As bell metal can be turned into gold when treated with mercury, a disciple initiated by a bona fide spiritual master immediately gains the position of a Brahman. As far as the time of Diksha is concerned, everything depends on the position of the Guru. As soon as the bona fide Guru is received by chance or by program, one should immediately take the opportunity to receive initiation. In the book called Tattva Sagara, it is stated, if by chance one gets a Sadguru, it does not matter whether one is in the temple or the forest. If the Sadguru, the bona fide spiritual master, agrees, one can be initiated immediately without waiting for a suitable time or place. Concerning Pratah Smriti, remembrance of the Lord in the morning, in the early morning hours known as Brahma Muhurat, one should get up and immediately chant the Hare Krishna mantra, or at least Krishna Krishna Krishna. In this way, one should remember Krishna. Some shlokas or prayers should be chanted. By chanting, one immediately becomes auspicious and transcendental to the infection of material qualities. Actually, one has to chant and remember Krishna 24 hours daily or as much as possible. Krishna is the origin of the word Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastra should be servants of these two principles. This is the quotation from the Padma Puran, from the portion called Brihat Sahasra Nama Stotra. The word Pratah Kritya is present verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrit, means that one should evacuate regularly in the morning and then cleanse himself by taking bath. One has to gargle, do the achaman and brush his teeth, and do this with twigs or toothbrush, whatever is available. This will purify the mouth. Then one should take this bath. Actually, householders and vanprastha should bath twice. A sannyasi should bath thrice, and a brahmachari may take only one bath a day. Whatever one is able to, whenever one is not able to bathe in water, he can bathe by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. One also has to perform the Sandhyadi Vandan, and that is, one has to chant his Gayatri Mantra 3 times daily, morning, noon and evening. 332. Dant dhavan snana sandhyadi vandan guru seva urdhva pundra chakradi dharan. You should describe how in the morning one should regularly brush his teeth, take his bath, offer prayers to the Lord, and offer obeisances to the spiritual master. You should also describe how one should render service to the spiritual master and paint one's body in 12 places with Urdhva Pundra Tilak, as well as how one should stamp one's body with the holy names of the Lord or the symbols of the Lord, such as the disc and club. Verse 333. Gopi Chandana Malya Dhriti Tulasi Aharana Vastra Pitha Griha Samskar Krishna Prabodhana. After this, you should describe how one should decorate his body with gopi chandan, wear neck beads, collect tulsi leaves from the tulsi tree, cleanse his cloth and the altar, cleanse his own house or apartment, and go to the temple and ring the bell just to draw the attention of Lord Krishna. Verse 334. Pancha Shodasha Panchashat Upachare Archana Pancha Kal Puja Arati Krishnera Bhojan Shaina. So we'll continue reading from verse 334 next time. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.